They will try to convince you that focus on yourself is selfish, that strength comes from serving everyone else. That's the greatest lie of power. Because the truth is, weakness is born from distraction. You scatter your energy across the opinions of others, and you wonder why you feel small. But the man who turns his gaze inward, who studies himself with ruthless honesty, becomes a weapon. Self-focus is not vanity. It is strategy. It is the act of sharpening your mind into a blade, turning every flaw into armor, every scar into steel. Machiavelli understood. The man who commands himself needs no permission, no applause, no mercy. He bends weakness into strength, silence into dominance, and pain into power. Self-focus is the art of stripping away illusions. When you stop chasing validation, the noise of the world fades, and you begin to see yourself clearly. You notice the habits that weaken you, the emotions that enslave you, the people who drain you. And instead of hiding from them, you face them. You train your weaknesses until they obey you. That is how the fearful man becomes fearless, how the quiet man becomes commanding, how the broken man becomes unshakable. Nothing outside can move you once you master what is inside. The world is full of men who try to control others but cannot control themselves. They shout, they posture, they demand respect. Yet inside, they are crumbling. They are hollow. A single blow shatters them because they never forged themselves in silence. But you, if you choose self-focus, you become untouchable. Every flaw you once hated becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes fuel. And every weakness you once carried becomes a source of strength no one can steal. This is the law of power. Mastery begins with self-mastery. You cannot bend the world if you cannot bend yourself, so turn inward. Withdraw from the noise. Study your weaknesses until they no longer hold you hostage. And when you emerge, you will not be the same man. You will be sharper, colder, stronger. Comment this phrase below. My weakness fuels my power. Write it, because this is the first strike of your transformation. Number 1. The cold discipline of isolation. The moment you decide to focus on yourself, the world will resist you. They will call you selfish, arrogant, even cruel. But understand this, isolation is not weakness, it is training. The lion does not explain why it hunts alone. It simply withdraws into silence, sharpens its claws, and waits for the perfect moment to strike. The same law applies to you. Self-focus requires distance. You cannot build power while drowning in noise, in gossip, in the endless pull of other people's demands. You must step back, even if it terrifies them, even if it makes them hate you, because their hatred is nothing compared to your clarity. Machiavelli wrote that men are driven by necessity, not by choice. If you remain tied to the approval of others, you remain their servant. But when you break away, when you learn to stand alone, you strip away every illusion of dependence. You no longer beg for support. You no longer crave applause. You no longer wait for permission. In isolation, you face the most brutal opponent, yourself, your laziness, your fears, your excuses. And in that battlefield, you learn how to kill them. That is how weakness dies. That is how strength is born. The man who embraces self-focus is dangerous because he does not need the world. He does not bend for validation. He does not bow for attention. He builds in silence, and silence makes him unpredictable. And nothing unsettles the world more than a man it cannot read, a man it cannot move. When you disappear into your own discipline, you create an aura of mystery. They begin to wonder where you've gone, what you're building, what you're becoming. And when you return transformed, sharper, colder, untouchable. Remember this, weakness thrives in distraction, but power is born in focus. Do not mistake withdrawal for defeat. It is strategy. The snake hides before it strikes. The general retreats before he conquers. And you, by stepping back into yourself, are not escaping life, but preparing to dominate it. The world will whisper that you've lost your edge. They will say you've disappeared. Let them. Because when you return, they will not recognize you. They will not be able to stop you. Now write this in the comments below. I build in silence, I return in power. This is the second law you must etch into your mind. It is the discipline that transforms isolation into strength. Number 2, the alchemy of weakness. The weak man hides from his flaws. He buries them under excuses, distractions, and lies. But the powerful man does the opposite. He hunts them, studies them, bends them until they serve him. This is the alchemy of power, turning weakness into strength. Machiavelli understood that men who deny their weaknesses are doomed to be ruled by them. But men who embrace them, who confront them without mercy, transform them into weapons no enemy can predict. Think about it. Your fear of failure can destroy you, or it can drive you to prepare harder than anyone else. Your anger can rot you from within, or it can become fuel, fire in your veins that pushes you through barriers others never dare to cross. Even shame, even loss, even betrayal, these can either chain you or sharpen you. The difference lies in whether you run from them or forge them into tools. A scar can be proof of your defeat, or it can be proof of your survival. And survival is the seed of dominance. Most men spend their lives building walls around their weaknesses, trying to hide them from the world. But those walls are brittle. They shatter the moment pressure comes. Instead, you must take the opposite path. Expose your weakness to yourself. Break it down, dissect it, strip it of its poison, and rebuild it as strength. The coward who learns to face fear becomes the bravest soldier. The man who once craved validation becomes unstoppable once he learns to starve himself of approval. This is not theory. It is law. Life will crush you if you do not transmute your pain into power. Every enemy you face will try to attack your soft spots. That is natural. But imagine this. What if those soft spots no longer existed? What if every attack they launched only made you stronger? That is what happens when you weaponize your weakness. The blow that was meant to break you becomes a gift. The betrayal that was meant to humiliate you becomes your rebirth. The fear that was meant to stop you becomes your engine. This is not delusion. This is discipline. This is the strategy of the few who rise while the many collapse. Remember this truth. Power does not come from pretending you are flawless. It comes from turning your flaws into your fortress. And when you do this, people will look at you differently. They will see the scars and expect weakness. But what they will find is steel. They will strike, and their strike will fail, because you have already faced what they could never endure. Now write this phrase in the comments. I turn my scars into steel. Let the world know you are no longer running from weakness. You are using it. You are becoming untouchable. Number 3, the ruthless law of control. Power begins within. Control yourself or be controlled. This is the law. Every empire that collapsed, every king who was dethroned, every leader who fell, it wasn't the enemy outside that destroyed them. It was the chaos inside. Desire without discipline, anger without direction, weakness disguised as pride. Machiavelli warned that a prince who cannot master his own impulses will soon be mastered by those who can. And you, if you cannot rule yourself, will be ruled by everyone around you. Self-focus is not just about strength, it is about control. Cold, ruthless, unbreakable control over your mind, your emotions, your actions. The man who cannot control his anger becomes a puppet of anyone who can provoke him. The man who cannot control his desire becomes a slave to anyone who can tempt him. And the man who cannot control his focus becomes prey to every distraction the world throws in his path. That is why most men fail. They hand their power away without realizing it. They lose themselves in appetites, in opinions, in comforts, in weakness. And once they lose themselves, they are no longer men. they are tools, but the one who chooses control becomes untouchable. He starves himself of what others crave. He denies himself the comforts that make others soft. He chooses silence where others scream, patience where others panic, discipline where others collapse. And because of that, he gains what no one else has: authority over himself. Authority that no betrayal, no temptation, no crisis can steal. You see, the man who owns himself cannot be owned. Understand this: the world is designed to control you. It offers you distractions, pleasures, endless noise to pull you from yourself. It gives you reasons to waste your focus, to dilute your strength, to scatter your energy. That is how weak men are manufactured. But you must resist. You must cut away the fat of weakness until only iron remains. This will hurt. It will demand sacrifice. But that is why it works, because most men are too weak to do it. Their weakness becomes your advantage. Control is the invisible crown. People follow the man who cannot be shaken, the man who radiates composure while others fall apart. They sense it, they feel it, and they submit to it without understanding why. Because deep down, every person craves stability, and the one who embodies it becomes their anchor. This is not charisma. This is not charm. This is discipline forged into aura. So I ask you, begin to control the small before you aim for the great. Control your sleep, your appetite, your thoughts, your words. The man who cannot master the little will never master the throne. And every time you deny your weakness, you grow colder, sharper, stronger. This is how you become untouchable, not through noise, but through control. Now comment this below: I rule myself, so nothing can rule me. That is the law you must burn into your mind. For the man who cannot be controlled cannot be defeated. Number 4, the silent aura of dominance. The highest form of power is not loud. It does not shout. It does not beg. It does not announce itself. The highest form of power is silent, yet undeniable. It is an aura, a presence that bends the room without words. And this kind of dominance is born from one thing: self-focus. When a man rules himself so completely that nothing external can disturb him, he radiates a strength others instinctively feel. Machiavelli knew this. Perception is as powerful as reality. If people believe you are strong, you are strong. If they sense you cannot be shaken, they submit before you ever lift a hand. This is why most men fail to command respect. They try to force it, they beg for it, demand it, shout for it. But the moment you beg for power, you have already lost it. Real power is not asked for, it is projected. It comes from discipline so ruthless that others cannot ignore it. The way you stand, the way you speak, the way you carry silence like a blade. The self-focused man does not need to posture. He does not need to prove anything. His very existence unsettles the weak. Dominance begins in the mind, long before it touches the world. Watch how weak men reveal themselves. They laugh too loudly, they explain too much, they react too quickly. They spill their energy like water, and the world drinks it dry. But the man who has mastered himself does not move on impulse. He listens more than he speaks. He measures his words like weapons. He knows that silence often screams louder than noise. And because he does not give himself away, people fear him. They fear what they cannot read, what they cannot predict, what they cannot shake. Understand this: power is a performance, but it is not fake. It is discipline forged into perception. Machiavelli taught that men judge more by what they see than by what they feel. If you appear weak, they will treat you as weak, even if you burn with strength inside. If you appear strong, they will bend, even if you are still building yourself. That is why control of perception is everything, and the man who focuses inward, who builds himself in silence, controls what the world sees. How do you build this aura? You begin where others refuse to begin, with the smallest details. Your posture, your eyes, your tone of voice. You teach your body to project calm in the midst of chaos. You train your voice to speak with weight instead of desperation. You discipline your eyes to meet others without wavering, without apology. Over time, these details merge into presence. People cannot explain it, but they feel it when you walk into a room. They feel the heaviness in your silence, the calculation in your stillness, the sharpness in your calm. They feel that you are not like them, and that feeling is dominance. The weak man, on the other hand, sabotages himself without knowing it. He talks too much, revealing his fears. He moves too fast, showing his desperation. He lets others trigger him, proving he has no control. And once the world sees this, he is done. He will be tested, mocked, and broken. That is the fate of the unfocused. But the man who has mastered himself cannot be baited. He does not rise to petty insults. He does not react to minor provocations. He lets the weak reveal themselves while he remains silent, still, cold. And because he does not give himself away, people assume he is untouchable. They fear what they cannot read. Here lies the truth. Power is not about having more. It is about needing less. When you need nothing from anyone, you terrify them. They cannot bribe you with validation. They cannot enslave you with pleasure. They cannot bend you with fear. Your detachment makes you invincible. That is why self-focus is the foundation of dominance. You cut away dependency until only strength remains. And in that silence, you project an aura that cannot be faked. But this aura is fragile if you are inconsistent. You cannot project strength one day and collapse the next. If people see cracks in your composure, they will strike. If they see inconsistency, they will doubt. That is why your discipline must be constant. Every day, you sharpen yourself. Every day, you deny weakness. Every day, you return to silence and rebuild your presence. This is not a game. This is not something you turn on and off. It is a state of existence. Machiavelli understood timing too. The prince who acts too soon is reckless. The one who acts too late is destroyed. But the prince who waits in silence, who chooses his moment with calculation, becomes unstoppable. The same law applies to you. Your aura is not just in stillness, it is in patience. When others rush, you wait. When others panic, you remain still. And when the time is right, you strike with precision. One move executed at the perfect moment is worth more than 1,000 wasted attacks. This is the strategy of the self-focused man. He conserves his energy until the perfect opportunity presents itself. Then, when he moves, no one can stop him. Look at history. The most feared leaders were not always the loudest or the most violent. They were the ones who seemed unshakable, unreadable, inevitable. Caesar, Napoleon, Alexander, men who carried an aura of inevitability, as if destiny bent around them. People followed them not only because of their victories, but because of the perception that they could not be defeated. That perception was as powerful as their armies. You must cultivate the same aura in your own life. Even if you are still building, project strength. Even if you are still rising, radiate inevitability. Let the world believe you cannot be moved, and soon they will act as if you cannot. This is how dominance spreads, not by force, but by perception. The man who can command without speaking, who can silence a room without effort, who can radiate control without noise, that man is dangerous. He bends reality without lifting a hand. He rules not because he demands it, but because others choose it. And they choose it because deep down, they crave stability. They crave certainty. They crave the presence of someone who cannot be shaken. So remember this: the silent man is the dangerous man. The self-focused man is the unpredictable man. And the one who fuses both becomes untouchable. Your task is to embody this law. Every scar, Every weakness, every sacrifice you make in silence, these are the bricks of your aura. Build it daily, guard it ruthlessly, project it relentlessly, and never, ever allow it to break. Now, I want you to write this phrase in the comments below. I command without words, I dominate without noise. Because this is the law you must live by. From now on, you are no longer chasing power, you are becoming it. Number 5. The strategy of patience and the art of the strike. The world belongs to those who wait, not passively, not idly, but with the cold patience of a predator. Machiavelli understood this. Fortune favors the man who knows when to act, and more importantly, when not to. Weak men destroy themselves by rushing into battles unprepared. They expose their hand, they reveal their weakness, they act on impulse, and the world devours them. But the man who has mastered patience holds his blade behind his back until the exact moment when the enemy is weakest. Then, with one strike, he takes everything. Self-focus is not just about building strength, it is about building timing. You learn to restrain your impulses, you learn to delay gratification, you learn to control the urge to prove yourself immediately. Because the one who cannot wait will always lose to the one who can. Think of the hunter who fires too early, his prey escapes. Think of the general who attacks too soon, his army collapses. But the man who endures silence, who waits while others grow restless, who observes while others waste themselves, that man wins without breaking a sweat. Most men are slaves to urgency. They believe every moment must be filled with action. They chase every opportunity, grab at every distraction, and burn themselves out long before the true battle begins. Their impatience betrays them. They act before the field is ready, before their weapons are sharpened, before their enemy has made mistakes. And because they cannot wait, they lose what could have been theirs. You must not fall into this trap. Your patience must be colder than ice. You must learn to watch chaos unfold without being pulled into it. You must wait until the noise has consumed your rivals, then step forward in silence and claim what remains. Patience is not inactivity, it is preparation. Every day you wait is not wasted time, it is investment. While others scatter themselves chasing validation, you are sharpening your skills. While they expose their weaknesses, you are building your fortress. While they rush into failure, you are calculating angles. Then, when the moment comes, your move appears effortless because it was built in silence. This is why the self-focused man is feared. Not because he moves often, but because when he does, his strike is devastating. Machiavelli wrote that men are blind to timing. They want to seize power quickly, but they do not see that power is a game of seasons. There is a time to retreat and a time to advance, a time to hide and a time to strike. The man who misreads the season is doomed, no matter how strong he is. But the one who masters patience becomes like nature itself. He flows with time, not against it. He knows when to plant seeds, when to let them grow, and when to harvest without mercy. The art of striking is not just about when, but also how. A reckless strike can undo years of preparation. A precise strike, executed at the perfect moment, can change the course of your life forever. Think of the chess master. He does not rush his attack. He builds pressure piece by piece until his opponent suffocates. Then, in one decisive move, he ends the game. That is how you must operate. Build silently, prepare ruthlessly, and strike with precision so cold that no one saw it coming, yet everyone realizes it was inevitable. Understand this, the enemy will always reveal himself if you wait long enough. People cannot hide their weakness forever. The impatient man will always expose his flaws, his cravings, his desperation. All you must do is stay silent and observe. Study him. Let him bleed himself dry. Let him believe he is winning. Then strike, not at his strength, but at the exact point where his weakness collapses him. This is how wars are won without wasting armies, how empires are taken without endless battles. Patience and timing are the hidden weapons of the self-focused man. But patience is painful. That is why most men cannot practice it. Waiting requires discipline. It requires enduring doubt, enduring boredom, enduring the whispers of others who call you lazy, cowardly, or weak because you have not yet acted. Ignore them. They are revealing their own lack of vision. They cannot see beyond the present while you are shaping the future. Their noise is proof of your advantage. Let them burn themselves out. Let them laugh while you sharpen your blade, because when the time comes, they will not be laughing. They will be kneeling. The greatest power you can hold is the ability to act when others collapse. When they are tired, you are fresh. When they are distracted, you are focused. When they are careless, you are precise. This is the power of patience. This is the art of the strike. You will not waste energy in meaningless fights. You will not drown in noise. You will not scatter your focus. You will conserve, prepare, and unleash yourself only when the moment is perfect. And when you do, there will be no second chances for your enemies. History proves this law. The empires that lasted longest were built not on endless conquest, but on calculated timing. The generals who won the greatest wars were those who refused to be baited into traps, who forced their enemies to exhaust themselves before moving in. The leaders who ruled the longest were those who appeared silent until their presence became unavoidable. This is your path. Not to scatter yourself in endless battles, but to conserve your strength until one decisive strike makes you inevitable. So, hear me now. Impatience is weakness. Control of timing is power. Every day you hold your silence, you are winning. Every moment you resist distraction, you are sharpening yourself. Every second you wait, you are drawing closer to the moment when your strike will end the game. And when that moment comes, you must not hesitate. The patient man who hesitates becomes a fool. But the patient man who strikes without mercy becomes unstoppable. This is the law. Wait until they break themselves, then strike so coldly, so precisely, that they never recover. That is Machiavellian power. That is the art of dominance. Now write this phrase in the comments. I wait, I watch, I strike. Because this is not just a sentence, it is a code. The code of the untouchable. Number 6, the fortress within. Every man is vulnerable until he builds his fortress. Not a fortress of stone, not walls of steel, but a fortress within himself. Machiavelli warned that a ruler who depends only on external defenses will fall the moment those defenses are breached. The same law applies to you. If your strength exists only in appearances, in possessions, in validation, then you are already broken. You just haven't been tested yet. True power is invisible, unshakable, built deep inside where no enemy can touch it. This fortress is self-focus turned into permanence. It is the discipline to stand alone, the cold patience to endure silence, the ruthlessness to cut away weakness. It is the ability to survive storms without bending, betrayals without collapsing, losses without crumbling. The world will try to invade you with fear, with doubt, with temptation. But if you have built your fortress, their weapons bounce off your walls. You may be shaken, but you are never broken. The weak man builds castles outside himself. He relies on money, on status, on the approval of others. But castles can burn. Thrones can be stolen. Approval can vanish in a moment. And when it does, the man who depended on it collapses with it. You see this everywhere. Men who seemed powerful one day are reduced to nothing the next because their power was never real. It was borrowed, not built. Their fortress was external, not internal. And so they fall. But you You must build differently. Your fortress is not made of things the world can take away. Your fortress is made of discipline, patience, silence, and self-control. These cannot be stolen, cannot be bribed, cannot be broken. They are forged through sacrifice. Every time you deny yourself comfort, you add a brick. Every time you endure pain without folding, you strengthen the walls. Every time you master your own impulses, you raise the gates higher. Until one day you look around and realize you are untouchable. Understand this. People will test you. They will insult you to provoke you. They will tempt you to distract you. They will betray you to see if you collapse. And most men do. They react. They lose composure. They fall apart. That is what the world expects. But the man with a fortress within does not move. He absorbs the attack in silence, and his silence terrifies them. Because silence is proof that their weapons are useless. They cannot reach you, and that realization breaks them before you ever lift a hand. Your fortress is not built in one day. It is built in the dark hours when no one is watching, when you choose discipline over pleasure, when you choose patience over reaction, when you choose silence over noise. These choices, repeated day after day, create walls that no one sees, but everyone feels. And the more you build, the more your presence changes. People sense it. They sense that you are different, that you cannot be easily manipulated, that you cannot be easily shaken, and that makes you dangerous. This is why Machiavelli taught rulers to be feared more than loved. Love is fragile. It depends on others. But fear, true respect born from strength, comes from within. When people see that you cannot be moved, they adjust themselves to you. They stop testing you. They begin to follow you, not because you demanded it, but because they realize you are a fortress, and they would rather stand beside it than crash against it. Do not mistake this for arrogance. The fortress within is not pride, it is preparation. You are not building to boast. You are building to survive. You are building to rule yourself so completely that no betrayal, no failure, no storm can destroy you. And when the world sees that you cannot be destroyed, they stop trying to destroy you. That is the cold psychology of power. Once people believe you are unbreakable, they submit instead of resist. But beware, the fortress is not comfort. It is not isolation for the sake of hiding. It is preparation for war. If you retreat into yourself without discipline, you become weak. If you shut the world out because you fear it, you are not building a fortress. You are digging a grave. The fortress within is not escape. It is strength. It is a silent empire that lives inside you, ready to withstand attack and launch counterattack when the time comes. And here lies the secret. Once your fortress is strong enough, you can step into the world without fear. You no longer worry about betrayal because betrayal cannot collapse you. You no longer worry about loss because loss cannot break you. You no longer crave approval because approval cannot sustain you. You move through life with cold composure, and that composure makes others bend. The man who does not need the world is the man the world cannot defeat. The world will tell you to build outward. I am telling you to build inward. Outward power can be stolen. Inward power is permanent. Outward strength can burn. Inward strength only hardens with fire. Outward validation can vanish. Inward validation never leaves. That is why the fortress within is the ultimate law of survival and dominance. So ask yourself now, are you building walls of stone or walls of silence? Are you chasing approval or building discipline? Are you spreading yourself thin or are you gathering yourself into an unshakable core? The answers decide whether you stand as a fortress or fall as rubble. Now I want you to write this phrase below. My fortress is within. Say it, because from this moment on, you stop depending on what can be taken. You begin building what no one can touch. That is the path of the untouchable. That is the law of power. Number 7. Perception, the invisible blade. Power is not always about truth. Power is about perception. Machiavelli knew this better than anyone. He wrote that men judge more by what they see than by what they feel. They do not dig deep into your reality. They take what you show them and they treat it as truth. That is why the man who controls perception controls the world. His enemies may be stronger, his resources may be smaller, but if he shapes how others see him, he shapes their decisions, and shaping decisions is ruling them. Understand this. Self-focus gives you the raw strength, but perception is what turns that strength into command. You may master yourself, but if you fail to project it outward, the world will overlook you. Discipline must become presence. Control must become aura. The fortress within must cast shadows outside. If not, your power remains invisible, and invisible power changes nothing. Most men fail here. They either neglect perception entirely, or they overcompensate with noise. They scream about their power, posturing for respect, trying to prove what they do not yet possess. But noise exposes desperation. It shows weakness, not strength. The true Machiavellian operates differently. He knows perception is a weapon to be used with precision. He shapes what others believe about him, never revealing too much, never giving them the full picture. He becomes mystery embodied, and mystery breeds fear, curiosity, and respect. Perception is not lies, it is strategy. You do not need to fabricate who you are. You only need to choose what others see. Like a general who shows his army's strength but hides his supply lines. Like a ruler who displays his wealth but conceals his debts. Like a predator who reveals only his calm eyes while hiding the sharpened claws beneath. You do not owe the world transparency. Transparency is slavery. Control of perception is freedom. Machiavelli taught that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Why? Because fear is perception. It does not require constant maintenance, while love does. When people fear your strength, they discipline themselves for you. They hesitate before testing you. They calculate twice before betraying you. Fear is efficient, and it begins with how you are perceived. But dominance is not only built on fear, it is built on presence. You must project steadiness in chaos, calm in anger, silence in storms. People read these signals, even unconsciously. They assign weight to the man who cannot be rattled. They trust his composure more than their own. And soon, they begin following him, not because he demanded it, but because their perception told them he was inevitable. Think of how easily perception manipulates crowds. A man who appears confident is assumed to be competent. A man who appears wealthy is assumed to be powerful. A man who appears calm is assumed to be in control. These assumptions often outweigh reality, and this is your advantage. By mastering perception, you do not need to prove anything. You only need to guide what people already want to believe. But there is danger here. If you depend only on perception without the fortress within, you are fragile. A mask can shatter under pressure. That is why perception must be built on self-focus. The inward strength ensures that even if someone tests you, you remain unshakable. And when they test you and fail, your aura doubles in strength. Because they see that your perception was not performance, it was reality hardened into presence. This is why self-focus and perception are inseparable. One builds the fortress, the other projects the empire. One gives you unshakable control, the other makes the world bow. Together, they create the untouchable man. So how do you wield perception as a weapon? You control three things: what you reveal, what you conceal, and what you project. Reveal enough to establish strength. Conceal enough to breed mystery. Project enough to command respect. Do not explain your every move. Do not expose your full plans. Do not give people the comfort of understanding you. Confusion makes them cautious. Uncertainty makes them hesitant. And hesitation is the soil of your dominance. The most dangerous men in history were those others could never predict. Their aura was impenetrable. You did not know what they were thinking, but you knew they were always thinking. You did not know what they would do, but you knew it would be precise. And that uncertainty bent people without force. That is perception turned into a weapon. Your silence becomes heavy, your presence becomes magnetic, your words, few but sharp, become law. People lean toward you, trying to decode you, but they never fully can. And because they cannot, they treat you with caution. This is the cold advantage of the Machiavellian path. People fear what they do not understand. They respect what they cannot break. They follow what they cannot shake. But you must never become careless. Perception must be maintained. Your discipline must be consistent. The moment you reveal desperation, the moment you show weakness without strategy, you hand your power away. The fortress within guards against this, but you must never forget the battlefield outside. Every interaction is an opportunity to project dominance or to expose fragility. Choose wisely. This is why the self-focused man thrives in silence. He does not post his every thought. He does not announce his every move. He lets the world wonder, and in that wondering, they inflate his power. Perception works best when you give them space to imagine you as greater than you are. And once you truly become greater, their perception becomes reality. So hear me now. Control perception and you control people. Control people and you control power. It is not cruelty, it is survival. It is not manipulation, it is strategy. The world will always judge. Your task is to decide how they judge. Now write this phrase in the comments. I bend reality through perception, because from this moment on, you are no longer letting the world define you. You are defining how the world sees you. That is Machiavellian power. That is the invisible blade. Number 8. Adaptability, the weapon of reinvention. The man who refuses to change is already finished. Machiavelli knew it. Fortune crushes those who cling to what no longer works. Power belongs to the man who adapts, the man who reinvents himself endlessly. Because if they cannot define you, they cannot destroy you. Adaptability is not weakness, it is survival. The predator that shifts its tactics lives, the one that stays predictable starves. And so it is with you. If they exploit your flaw, you must transform it. If they learn your patterns, you must shed them. The self-focused man is fluid, like fire, like water, always reshaping, never captured. The weak cling to their old selves. They fear transformation because it demands pain, the death of habits, the burning of comfort. But the strong man welcomes it. Every reinvention is a rebirth. Every disappearance is preparation. Every return is sharper, colder, untouchable. That is why the world fears the man who transforms. They can never pin him down. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must shift with the winds of fortune. To survive, you must change masks, change weapons, change form. Let your enemies attack who you used to be. Let them swing at shadows. Meanwhile, your new self is already moving beyond them. That is how reinvention becomes a weapon. Reinvention also shatters chains of perception. People will think they know you, your limits, your weaknesses. Then you return different, stronger, unrecognizable. Their certainty breaks, and hesitation follows. And hesitation in others is your advantage. But transformation demands sacrifice. You cannot carry the old self into the new. He must be killed, without hesitation, without nostalgia. Every outdated habit, every dependency, every weakness. Destroy them. Burn the skin you've outgrown. Rise in silence as someone they no longer understand. This is why self-focus is your weapon. When you vanish, you are not hiding, you are evolving. You are building in silence, and silence conceals transformation. Then, when you return, the world is unprepared. They whisper, "Where did he go? What happened to him?" But the truth is simple. You killed the weaker self, and you forged a new one. And that is why you are untouchable. The man who adapts cannot be broken. Loss cannot break him. Betrayal cannot end him. Failure cannot bury him. Because he always returns, stronger, colder, sharper. Now write this phrase in the comments below. I transform, therefore I cannot be broken. Because this is not a phrase, it is your law. The law of adaptability, the law of survival, the law of Machiavelli. Number 9, the untouchable law. Power is not given, it is taken, built in silence, forged in fire. Machiavelli knew this. The man who commands himself commands the world. That is why every law we've spoken leads here. Self-focus as the ultimate weapon. Look at the path. You turned weakness into strength. You embraced isolation for clarity. You built control, patience, and the fortress within. You mastered perception. You learned the art of reinvention. All of it has led to this final truth. You are no longer the same man who began this journey. You are sharper, colder, stronger, untouchable. Understand, this is not philosophy. This is survival. The world does not bow to excuses. It bows to results. And results belong to the one who sacrifices comfort for discipline, distraction for silence, weakness for power. That man cannot be broken. That man cannot be stopped. But this is only the beginning. If you are ready to rise further, then your next step is waiting on the end screen. Watch it, because the knowledge in that video is the continuation of this path, and it will harden your mind even more. Do not hesitate. The ones who hesitate are left behind. And I ask you one more thing. If you want me to create a full series on personal development, on emotional intelligence, on the cold strategies of mastering yourself completely, then prove it. Comment these words with force. I want series, not weekly, not casually, with intent, because those who declare it are the ones prepared to transform. So now, it is your choice. Fade back into comfort, or step forward into the untouchable life. Like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and then watch the video on the end screen. That is where your next law of power begins.